I was trying to find a reason to get back into doing content and making some type of video because I have a lot on my mind. And I guess like clockwork, Amanda Seals delivers in the best ways possible. So Amanda Seals was on this Jubilee. I don't know what they call it. Gangbang. I don't know how to describe it. Some self-flagellation. Just she just accepting herself that she's going to be tortured for a couple hours and maybe make a couple bucks in the process. In the conversation itself, she had a lot of, I would say, generally speaking, lukewarm to fine perspectives overall. And I was going to do like I don't know, like a stream or something of like just going through it. But overall, she's very much passable in most aspects of the conversation. It didn't seem worth my time and energy to just watch someone and go, oh, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. But she decided to talk to Sabby today and she laid a goose. And I kind of want to talk about the goose. So Sabby directly grills her on reparations. And there was another question that a commenter, I guess a watcher of the stream, asked her. I want to play that portion first and then kind of talk about what I'm hearing and seeing when I see her speak.
Well, here's one of the questions from Devotion Orange. Can you ask Amanda how she came to be a part of the reparations discussion without mentioning the ADOS movement?
The ADOS movement has been harassing me and attacking me for the past how many years? Telling me that I'm a coconut, that I need to go back to Grenada, telling me that I am not Black American, even though I am the descendant of chattel slavery in the United States, and that I literally, my great grandmother's the birth certificate for her daughter is also signed by her slave owner. So it's like deeply insulting. And I just don't think that the conversation about reparations should be solely attached to being a descendant of slavery, because we know that Black people in the United States have suffered at the hands of racism and legislation and institutionalization of racism in more ways than one. So yes, there is reparations owed to American descendants of slavery. There are also reparations owed to individuals who were not able to get property and land and redlined out of those spaces. There is reparations owed to people. I believe there's reparations owed to the people who are still locked up right now on marijuana charges in places where marijuana is no longer a criminal offense. And you have Ashley H and Ashley C with a marijuana dispensary while, Tyree and Lateef are still doing time because of a 3 strikes law that Joe Biden helped to push. So, when it comes to ADOS, I think that there are certain members of the ADOS community who really are simply just saying, I am a descendant of American slavery. But when I see a lot of the mouthpieces of ADOS who really are at the forefront of the movement, it feels more exclusionary than inclusionary. And I don't think that is useful as a Pan-Africanist.
Well,
okay. So first off, she did not answer the question. And I hate using like the full video. Like I'm trying not to do that for people, but Amanda just decides to just go everywhere when she wants to answer a question. And even earlier in the interview, she acknowledged that she's kind of new to the game. She's kind of new to these certain ideas around Black Americans and Black people broadly. She said early in the conversation,
during the election season of 2020, the run up to the election, there started to be a demand that in order to vote for Joe Biden, he needs to say that he's willing to give us reparations. And I was at that time being swept up in the melee of folks saying, we can't ask for things. It's too late in the game. We just need to get him in office. So I became one of those mouthpieces that was saying, we can't make demands for that right now. Like, we really just need to get him office. We just need to get him in office. Just need to get him in office. Like, you can't worry about reparations right now. I have never said that Black people don't deserve reparations. I have never said that reparations are not justified.
So she articulated earlier in the conversation that she's kind of new to this game. And earlier in her political career, not that long ago, when we think about political careers in cycles or political careers that are, they're like 5 years in politics is not that a lot, not that much time. So she's basically saying, of what I'm hearing, is that in 2020 she was part of the sort of vote blue, no matter who, Biden, no matter what camp. And then through whatever circumstances, she slowly shifted away from that to a more pro black message. It just comes off to me that she's just kind of a plant, and not a plant in, maybe plant's not the best word. She just comes off as an opportunist. And I think she sees the sort of ongoing problem with sort of the emergence of a more illiberal but left movement towards black issues, that there's no spokesperson, there's no sort of figure that people can point to that comes off as an authority figure in this space. And she's kind of just inserting herself in a lot of ways that I think are not the greatest. Because I think if she didn't sort of change her tune in the past 4 to 5 years, she never would be on Jubilee in the first place. She would never be getting an opportunity to even speak to someone like Sabby. And I strongly recommend you watching the whole interview. Because it just, at the point that I'm recording it, it just finished up. I'm sure Sabby's going to release her own end of it, but it's not good. I made this video because I'm getting very sensitive to how people speak and engage about things. And when Amanda revealed kind of like her very vague stance on reparations, that like, okay, it's morally and ethically justified. There's a bunch of reasons for that. But then when you get to sort of the particularities of these things, the particularities of reparations that makes her reparations politic, the politic itself, it's very much the same problem that I have with neoliberalism and liberals more broadly, where they might have a subject. So they might speak towards homelessness, they might speak towards reparations, they might speak towards democracy. But when it finally comes to defining the abstraction in more concrete terms and more concrete ideas, they're never properly articulated in a way that people can kind of understand. And again, when it comes to sort of the topic of content, like the actual subject, nothing she said is that like controversial, but it's muddy. It's still muddy because there's no particularity in the politic. It's just saying that reparations is morally just and ethically justified without really going another step to sort of define what that means for her. And she has a very mixed lineage and a very mixed history. So she even is like alluding to the idea that, okay, we need to be very specific about what we're trying to do and accomplish when we have a reparations politic, but she doesn't do a great job at defining what that politic is for herself. And that might be sort of the aftermarket, how do I describe it? The aftermarket liberalism that she's running into, where she might just have an issue. She might just not be fully aware that when she speaks, she's very sort of content empty. And what I mean by content empty, it's just that you have a subject. So in this case for her, it's reparations, but there's no deeper material outside of the abstraction of reparations itself. In a lot of ways, reparations is just an abstraction. Like you say, like, I support reparations. Okay, that's an abstract subject. So now you need to build a particularity, a content around that subject. And that's where you get particular differences. And I don't think, especially considering that Amanda Seales seems to be a recovering Democrat sympathizer or Democratic Party sympathizer, that she's there yet. And it's okay to not be there yet, but I'm worried that she's might be using this opportunity, that there really isn't any sort of reparations thought leader, quote unquote, to just kind of find her way in a nice little corner of liberal discourse, to kind of sort of like position herself as an authority figure, just by virtue of people giving her opportunity to speak. And that's what I'm concerned about when she goes into spaces and engages.